All right, welcome. This is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. So it's been quite a bit since I've been on here talking with you guys. Last Sunday, I believe, was the last time that I was on with you guys. So we've had quite a few things go down. We want to a couple of let's start out. Let's start off with this. The Eagles cleared up some cap space, quite a bit of cap space by restructuring Lane Johnson, restructuring Derek Barnett, which obviously needed to happen, or he needed to be cut or traded because he was making $10 million. The Eagles cleared up about $14 million in the cap room in doing so, and then we're gonna go ahead and get back to that in a second here. But let me just say this. I mean, that in and of itself, in reference to where we started, in reference to where we started before the offseason began, negative 70 million in the cap is just an absolutely phenomenal job by Hy Roseman. But I do want to talk about training camp so far. I want to talk about who the standouts have been, what it's been looking like, and what we can discuss. And Zeke McPherson, our rookie cornerback, 4th round pick, Zeke McPherson has been probably our top standout on defense for this team when it comes to camp so far. Toxic Falcons, Franklin, welcome to the chat, guys. Franklin says, watching the Cowboys-Steelers game, at least it's football. Yeah, it looks like the Steelers down the Cowboys 16-3. That's the final score. Franklin goes ahead and says, do not trade for Watson. He's going to go up in flames just like cigarettes. Well, we're going to jump in and we're going to talk about the Deshaun Watson stuff as well. Deshaun Watson, obviously, there were plenty of reports that came out late last night that said that the Deshaun Watson to the Philadelphia Eagles rumors and trade talks were heating up. And then there was another rumor that came out put out by CBS Sports this morning that said that they were not heating up. Now, what that means, I don't know. I mean, one versus about 4 or 5 reports. We'll just have to see. But I do think it's a little bit. Odd. You know, if you put all the pieces together, you know, Deshaun Watson, you know, hasn't really been practicing since Tuesday. You know, the Eagles, Hy Roseman, the Eagles coaching staff had a little bit of a powwow during practice on Tuesday. They just recently cleared up a ton of cap room, $14 million in cap, which would give them the cap space to bring in a guy like Deshaun Watson. I'm not saying that they should do it. That's not what I'm saying. But they clearly have not given Jalen Hurts the full vote of confidence. You know, they've been asked plenty of times whether or not they're ready to name Jalen Hurts as the starter for week 1, and they have not done it. You know, they've come out and said, we're not at that point yet. You know, just because you're going to name a guy for week 1 doesn't mean you got to name a guy for week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way through week 17. You know, you're just naming a guy for week 1. There's clearly something going on that continues to insinuate that this team does not have complete faith in Jalen Hurts. And now there was also a report that came out, and I believe this was on Tuesday as well, that the NFL Network just unfortunately happened to pan over to the Eagles practice live when Jalen Hurts overthrew Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz, who has been having a phenomenal camp, by the way, as well. And also rookie linebacker Jacoby Stevens, who is stepping in for an injured Davion Taylor, who is also having a phenomenal camp. I just want to say a lot of players, and we're going to get this. We're going to get to this. We're going to wrap this all up. It's going to be a very informative podcast. I have a lot to get to just because I haven't been with you guys. I've moved, you know, over the past week. So I've been doing quite a bit. I've been very, very busy. But Davion Taylor, who's had a phenomenal camp, pretty much the entire defense. This team is actually looking a lot better than we're supposed to, and that's also coming from Barrett Brooks. You know, I heard him say that on Birds 365 just the other day. But Jacoby Stevens picked off Jalen Hurts, and look, I have a ton of faith in Jacoby Stevens. He's one of my sleeper picks. He's a 7th round pick out of LSU. We're all aware of this. I really think that they can find a good niche for him. And so that was phenomenal progression. When I heard Jacoby Stevens got that pick on Jalen Hurts, I was happy about it. But is that more about Jacoby Stevens or is it more about Jalen Hurts? Now, Jalen Hurts isn't having a bad camp, but he's been steady. He hasn't been impressive. He hasn't been overly impressive like a franchise quarterback needs to be. He's been steady. And that is where this issue lies. He's been steady. He hasn't been overly impressive. So that's what we need to look at here. Let's get to some of these questions. Toxic Falcon says it's crazy Watson could go to the Eagles. It absolutely is crazy. It absolutely is crazy. And the thing is that there is a strong possibility. Everything right now, all the talk and all that, it really is pointing to the fact. It really is pointing to the possibility of it could possibly happening. That is very true. Toxic Falcon says you all have 3 first-round picks, right? It's not gonna be 3 first-round picks. They're not gonna get 3 first-round picks. Here's the thing: the report that came out late last night was that the Texans and the Eagles were close to getting a deal done. They were close to getting a deal done. Trade talks are heating up, and they're close to coming to an agreement. It's not going to be 3 first-round picks. It's just not. It might be 2 first-round picks, and it might be another pick, and maybe a little bit more. But it's definitely not going to be. It's definitely not going to be 3. I'm sorry. He's got baggage, and they're not going to get. They're not going to get 3. That's what they want. You never give the guy what you ultimately want in a trade bargain. You negotiate down a little bit, and that's how these trades always go. That's how these trades always go. Toxic Falcon says, "Oh yeah, congratulations on 50 subs." Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, no, it happened last week. I appreciate that. Nikki Cunningham, welcome back to the chat. Hello. Enter zone. The game was crap. I'm sorry that it bursted your bubble. Enter zone. I'm sorry that it bursted your bubble. It's a preseason game. It's a Hall of Fame game. It's the very first game of the new season. I mean, you can't even necessarily say that. It's it is what it is. It's the Cowboys and it's the Steelers. You know what I mean? It's Nikki Cunningham has a question. What is your question, Nikki? I would love to hear it. Let's hear it. 50 subs. Congrats, says Nikki. Thank you, Nikki. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. But how do you guys? And once Nikki gets in her question, let's talk a little bit about Zeke McPherson, guys. Do you guys actually believe this hype? There's been plenty of reports coming out about Zeke McPherson, about him being a playmaker. Do you guys actually think that the Eagles nailed a playmaker at the cornerback position for the first time in God knows how many years? Do you guys actually believe this hype? Because because I get goosebumps thinking about it. I get goosebumps thinking about it because I'm having a hard time believing in the hype. It's been almost 20 years since we drafted Lito Shepherd and Sheldon Brown. You know what I mean? And those were the last 2 cornerbacks that we drafted that were anything substantial. So, and we've seen players that we've drafted and we've heard them get a lot of hype during training camp before and then pan out to nothing, but nothing quite like Zeke McPherson. I mean, and I'm sure, and here's the thing is it's not just Dave Spadaro, Eagles insider giving this guy hype. It's not just him. It's a bunch of different guys. It's the difference between now and the difference between then is, now everybody's got their own YouTube podcast or YouTube channel or something like that. So everybody has their own opinion to offer, and a lot of the time it's not biased. A lot of the time they are honest with their opinions and what they think of the team, kind of similar to what I'm talking about here, like Adam Kaplan on Inside the Birds, saying that Zeke McPherson looks good. Zeke McPherson looks good. and Barrett Brooks coming on Birds 365 and saying this team looks better than they should. You know what I mean? And then other times, just in that same exact podcast, you have Josh Sweat. You have Josh Sweat blowing up Andre Dillard. That one that says two things. Here's what I'll say about this. Andre Dillard sucks. When he like we knew he wasn't going to have a good camp when he came in and said I didn't have as much motivation as I do now. You should have never started it off like that. Why didn't you have the motivation in the first place? Josh Sweat came in and Josh Sweat played like Josh Sweat plays, and Josh Sweat came in and played with the progression that he continues to show up with year in and year out and blew Andre Dillard to the ground. And that is exactly what happened. And then pretty much Andre Dillard tapped out. And we've known this all along. This is Jordan Mailata's job. And Kerryon Johnson, I don't know if you guys caught this tidbit, but Kerryon Johnson kind of gave the starting rotation away a little bit when he was speaking of the offensive line, and he brought up Mailata, and he did not speak of Andre Dillard. So Toxic Falcon says, so are you getting Watson? That's a great question, man. That's a great question. Here's my take on this. Here's my take on the Watson thing. As the days pass on, the more news comes out. It was around 11:30 at night last night, Mountain Standard Time, when I saw that news break, and that's huge. That was huge news. One, because it was two separate articles that came out, and it said that they were close, and it said that they're really close to getting to agreeing to something. And also it said that they were heating up. So in my mind, I think that's pointing to something happening. The other thing is this: is they will not commit to Jalen Hurts. There's really nothing less there's really nothing more. Like, they have not, for some reason, they have not shown the faith in Jalen Hurts. This coaching staff, the front office, the organization, they have not shown the faith in Jalen Hurts, whether people like him or not, whether the team is ready to follow him or not. The head honchos in the organization have not. So, and that kind of worries me. I gotta be honest with you, because Jalen Hurts is a likable guy. Jalen Hurts does have that magnetic energy that we've talked about in the past. And the guys do like him. The guys are rallying around him. So if you do bring in a guy like Deshaun Watson, if you do bring in another quarterback that is skilled, highly skilled, more skilled than Jalen, and they've already bought into Jalen, is it gonna ruffle the feathers of the chemistry that's being built right now? Like, that's the thing. Or is it going to be a competition? And I believe it's going to be a competition. I believe that they're still going to implement that idea, but how long are they going to be able to let that hold? How well is Nick Sirianni going to be able to manage that? Because clearly, at the end of the day, the established veteran in that situation would be Deshaun Watson. It's that simple. Nikki Cunningham said, just subbed you a few more. Well, I appreciate that. Nikki. Thank you. Got to get as many as I can. Before the season starts. So I'm hoping that I can get more. That I can get more during the season. I'm sure I will. Once the season picks up and is in full swing. You know what I mean? So thank you, Nikki. Toxic Falcons says Parsons looked good. Yeah, I assume Parsons looked. I didn't watch the game. I was working, but I think Parsons is going to have a good career. I don't think my opinions of of Michael Parsons has changed since I was evaluating him pre-draft, and the only thing is the only opinion that's really changed is that he's a Dallas Cowboy now, and I kind of have to hate him, but I do still believe that he is going to be a phenomenal linebacker. I do believe he's going to have a great career. So, so that does not surprise me that he looked good. Nikki Cunningham says, okay. If it was your dynasty fantasy team, would you trade Kamara for Najee Harris? If it was my dynasty fantasy team, would I trade Kamara for Najee Harris? No, I don't think I would. Reason being is I think I can do a little bit more. I feel like I can do a little bit more with Kamara. And Alvin Kamara, he's a tough runner too. You know what I mean? And he's slippery between the tackles. He's quick. He's great. He's great outside. He's great on his routes too. So I feel like I could do a little bit more with Kamara. He's established. So I could use him in the passing game. I could use him in the run game. Najee. Najee's going to be. I feel like Najee's going to be a good running back, but I have my money on Kamara. Nikki says, I'm thinking about trading Kamara for the number 1 overall in my league, which I would use to get Harris. Don't do it. Don't do it. I wouldn't do that. I don't think you need to get Harris with your number 1. Do you? Do you need to get Harris? I haven't done my fantasy league yet, but I don't think you have to get him that high. Are people really taking Najee Harris that high? It's pretty crazy. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea if people are doing that. Oh, okay, so it's dynasty. So thinking years into the future. Still, I mean, how long is the dynasty for? Is there a set limit of years, Nikki? Is there a set limit of years? So how are you guys feeling? So apparently Nick Sirianni jumped all over Jalen Reagor the other day. How are you guys feeling about that? I think I absolutely love it. But here's what I don't love. Jalen Reagor's a problem. Jalen Reagor is a problem. Jalen Reagor is a bust. I'm going to come out and say it right now. Jalen Reagor's a problem. Here's the other thing too. I haven't been on since Devontae Smith hurt himself. So I'm not necessarily worried about. I think he'll come back. He'll be okay. I think he'll recover fine. But the way that Devontae Smith carries himself, the way that Devontae operates, that's how a number one wide receiver operates. And I get it. Like Devontae Smith and Jalen Reagor, Devontae Smith is a freak. His route running is absolutely insane. Their competition levels that they faced in college were insanely different and things like that. But I mean, like you look at Justin Jefferson, like and Jalen Reagor, like they carry themselves differently. All I've seen from Jalen Reagor is all talk. I haven't seen him put it up. I haven't seen him put it up. I haven't done it. And so therefore, I'm gonna come right out and say it right now. He's a bust, and this wide receiver duo that we got is a problem. Kez Watkins, I'm glad that he's bouncing back from missing the time that he missed. That's good. Jason Avant came in and he said during his segment with Quentin Mickle that he didn't believe John Hightower was serious about the game, but John Hightower's had a couple good practice days, and so that's good. Quez Watkins is going to need to be the guy that steps up. Travis Fulgham is going to need to play well. That is going to need to that needs to happen. I cannot stress that enough. But guys, I'm going to say this right now: do not count on Jalen Reagor. Don't count on Jalen Reagor. You heard it here first. Like, count on Quez Watkins' development before Jalen Reagor's. He's going to develop more. He's going to develop more than Jalen Reagor. It will be Quez Watkins, not Jalen Reagor. Jalen Reagor is regressing. If he ever progressed, like, he's regressing. I haven't seen a doggone thing from that guy, and I don't believe we will. So can you believe it? Can you guys believe it? Man, we're about 14 mil. I can't even say that. I don't even know what we're at now. I think we're actually about 15 or 16 mil over the cap now. And we still have Zach Ertz on this team. Guys. That 8 mil cap that we thought we needed to clear, it's still there. And we technically don't need to move Zach Ertz. The other thing too that I want to talk about is this move, like all these moves to clear cap space. It might not be for Deshaun Watson, but it could be for Dallas Goedert's extension, which isn't being talked about as much, obviously, because Deshaun Watson steals the spotlight when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, obviously, as we know. But the other thing too is, I guess Dallas Goedert's not getting a lot of attention either, because Zach Ertz is having a phenomenal camp. Zach Ertz is also still on the team, so there is that. Dallas Goedert hasn't really done much to deserve an extension, and I feel like I'm the only one who thinks this, but he hasn't done much to deserve an extension. Not the extension that he thinks he's about to get. It's just what I believe. You do. You give a player an extension based off of performance and what you think he can do in the future. So here's the issue. So some people believe that teams just give the teams, it's either one or the other, that teams just give players extension based off of what they did in the past, or teams just give players extensions based off of what they're going to do in the future. But you kind of have to find the common ground, which is, okay, let's say they perform really well for 2 years. This is why rookie contracts are so important. This is why it's really important for a player to perform well on the rookie contract. Which Dallas Goedert has played well while he's been in there. Yes, but it hasn't been a lot. It hasn't been insane. It hasn't been an insane amount of production. It hasn't been Zach Ertz like. And so there hasn't been that common ground where it's like he doesn't deserve like a $10 million per year type of extension. I'm sorry, he just doesn't. Like, if I'm the only one, if I've offended anybody about Dallas Goedert. Big Play Slay, welcome to the house, my dude. What's up? What's up, brother? Toxic Falcon says, wouldn't they just trade Jalen if you're getting Watson? No, they wouldn't. They're not going to trade Jalen. Jalen's not going to be included in the package. And I was thinking a lot about that last night. Yeah, I was thinking a lot about that last night. I don't think Jalen would be included in the package. I don't think the Eagles are going to want to give up Jalen. I do think the Texans might take like Nick Mullins. Honestly, here's the other thing too. Yeah, I do think the Texans would like take Nick Mullins because he's performing really well at camp. Or maybe Joe Flacco because he's always performing well at camp and he'll push guys. But the Eagles will not trade Jalen Hurts. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see if there is a trade made, what the package is, if there is a player included. But Nikki says there has to be a reason for backloading these contracts. Has to be something this year, like now. Yeah, I think it could be either Dallas Goedert or I think it could be or Deshaun, or they're ready to trade for something else. Something else could happen. And for what? I don't know. The wide receiver core is in shambles quickly. And I honestly don't know who they would bring in. Now, since we last spoke, they brought in cornerback, they brought in safety Obi Melifonwu, who I'd like to get to see some snaps. Like, I think that would be really cool if he progressed, but I'm pretty sure he's probably just going to be a camp body, some guy that and who can compete for depth. And then they also brought in wide receiver Andre Patton, obviously from the Chargers, who did get some snaps. So, you know, I mean, that's all going to be contingent upon how they actually do, how the wide receivers in front of Andre Patton do. In camp and throughout the preseason. And I think Quez Watkins is really going to establish himself. And that's that's kind of what I'm really looking forward to. And John Hightower has the tools as well. John Hightower just needs to kind of do the similar things that Quez Watkins is doing. They both have similar skill sets. Big Play Slay says, I think Dallas Goedert has to step up this year. Of course, he has max potential. We understand that. But what has he shown? Flashes here and there. I think he has to prove himself a lot this year. Yeah, I don't think he's deserved his contract extension. I don't think he's deserved his contract extension yet. I'm sorry. Like, everybody keeps saying that like he should get it because he's younger than Zach Ertz, but he doesn't deserve the contract extension that the market has set for him for tight ends. Like, he hasn't deserved, he hasn't earned that yet. Like, there's like, I'm not gonna give Zach Ertz. I'm not gonna give Dallas Goedert that money. I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, here's the thing: is I don't think they're going to do it right now. I don't think they're going to do it right now. I think that they're going to they're going to wait and see how he plays, and then they're going to try and get it done mid-season. Like, that makes sense. That makes sense. But but I also think that it's wise for them to keep Zach Ertz now that they can. I think it's wise for them to keep Zach Ertz. So, and Zach Ertz is performing well, and Zach Ertz isn't necessarily complaining. Zach Ertz is being a professional as best as he can throughout camp, and doing a good job, doing a phenomenal job. Zach Ertz is being the player that we fell in love with when it comes to the Philadelphia, when it comes to our fandom towards him. The other standout that I really want to talk about, guys, obviously, as we know, Steven Nelson. Steven Nelson, we signed him not too long ago, about a little bit over a week and a half ago. He's done a phenomenal job since the pads have come on. Steven Nelson has done great. The whole defense has done great, guys, and it's really making me excited. Jonathan Gannon continues to rotate the linebackers in and out. Again, just circling back around to Jacoby Stevens getting that interception on Jalen Hurts in the middle of the field a couple days ago, which for me is exciting. Davion Taylor, Jacoby Stevens having a good camp. Eric Wilson, is having a great camp. Javon Hargrave is having a great camp. A lot of these guys, Milton Williams, they're moving all around the defensive line. Fletcher Cox, they're moving all around the defensive line. All of these guys are having a really good camp. And from what I hear from Inside the Birds, Adam Kaplan on Inside the Birds, Jeff Mosher, and Barrett Brooks on Birds 365, all these guys are playing excited. All these guys are playing with a lot of energy. The coaching staff does not look like a rookie coaching staff. They look like a veteran coaching staff. They're really harping on the guys, each and every individual player that they need to. So it's a lot of fun to witness the kind of retooling and kind of transition of this new team that we got. So and I think it kind of emanates from what Jeffrey Lurie thought that he missed out on, because what I think Jeffrey Lurie thinks he missed out on is, I think he kind of realizes that he hired the wrong guy for the head coaching position back in 2016, and now he realized that he needs to get a little bit more taste of what Frank Reich had to offer. And because Frank Reich is not available, well, the next best thing, obviously, is Nick Sirianni. So that's exactly what we got. And Nick has done a phenomenal job with each and every single one of these players. So just saying. I can't believe not one of you have commented on the background. Usually you guys love to comment on the background of my podcasts and how they're always changing. Toxic Falcon says, I'm glad we got Pitts, but he's still a rookie, so don't expect him to go crazy. Calvin is the true number one, and we got Hurts at tight end also. Yeah, I think it's good to throw expectations out the window. But I think you can have hopes. I mean, me personally, for the Falcons, dude, I hope that Kyle Pitts has a good season. I actually do. I think he will. You know what I mean? I think he will. I think for all the hype that has been built around Kyle Pitts as a player, and to be taken as high as he was, he better play well. He better play really well. Tox Falcons has a question. Yes. Well, I moved again. That's why the background is different. Nikki Cunningham says, "You know whose room your background looks like?" No, whose room does my background look like? I'm actually interested in this answer. He who shall not be named. Hi, Roseman? I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice that. That's funny. That's really funny. I didn't notice. I did not notice. A once famous Eagles fan. How can you be a once famous Eagles fan? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense to me. I am definitely intrigued. Big Play Slay, if you're still in the house, how are you feeling about Zeke McPherson? Are you believing in the hype? Over the summer, he was busted for something pretty gross. My mind is drawing a blank. Nikki's like, come on. I just got off work like an hour and a half ago. Oh. No, my room does not look like EDP's at all. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I thought EDP. First off, yeah, that was gross and unfortunate, and like I don't know the full story, but I'm not gonna comment on it. I honestly like he used to like make me laugh, but like his cursing was too much, and so like it kind of annoyed me. But you know, but no, EDP had like a window over here. EDP had like a window over to the side of his room, and like his bedroom door was over like over there. mine's right there. This is my office. You know what I mean? This is he had it in his bedroom. He was doing it in his bedroom. This is my office. It is not identical. You're crazy, Nikki. Does it look identical? I don't think it looks identical. Nope. Nope. And I got two monitors. He actually went to the Super Bowl. Yeah. Yeah, no, I heard about that and I saw it. I actually saw that bust video on YouTube. Because I know those guys that have the YouTube channel where they bust people for that. That's how I saw it. But I actually found out about that channel through watching Joey Shake Squad. I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know that guy. If you guys know him, I do game, but I game on my PS4, my PS4 Pro. But those two monitors, those are for my work. So I work from home. Talks Falcons. Did you see my question? Talks Falcons says, "Are you gonna do a live reaction when the Falcons whoop y'all?" Don't even start, man. Don't even start. I'm gonna because I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be live streaming. I'm gonna be live streaming for the game. So yeah, it's gonna be live. But you're not gonna whoop us. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. Now he's laughing. Now he's laughing at my response. It's going to be a good game. I see. Here's the thing: is I feel like we're in similar spots, and I feel like we both teams could be better than they're actually supposed to be. So I feel like it could be a really good game. I also feel like we could just beat the hell out of you. That's the other thing too. You know what I mean? Nikki says Predator Poachers is what it used to be called. I never liked his bust videos. He makes too many jokes about some serious stuff. Yeah, it's incredibly serious, and it's unfortunately, yeah. I mean, it's a very, it's absolute horrific thing to do, and I just can't. Some people, a lot of people. I mean, unfortunately, it happens to a lot of girls and boys. So a lot of people are just really, really sick out there, and you never know who it is around. It can be anybody around you, and you never would have known. Toxic Falcon says, I still can't believe y'all got a ring before us, man. Well, we waited. Yeah, I mean, you'll get yours at some point. We'll see. The time will come. And maybe it will come with Kyle Pitts on the team. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's just a secret ingredient that's missing, maybe. There's just a secret ingredient that's missing, maybe. But I'm excited for our defense. When it comes to the Eagles, we've talked enough. We've talked enough about your Falcons. Okay, we've talked enough about your Falcons. We can stop talking about your Falcons now. when it comes to the Eagles, I'm really excited about. I'm really excited about the defense because apparently Jonathan Gannon's got this defense amped up and ready to go. They're making some plays. Rookie cornerback Zeke McPherson has been making some plays. Jacoby Stevens has been making some plays. Davion Taylor has been making some great progression. Can't wait till he gets back on the field. Anthony Harris laid a huge boom on Travis Fulgham a few days ago, so that's great to hear. Anthony Harris looked great. Steven Nelson has not missed a beat and probably is playing better than I thought he was going to, because I thought he was just going to be a solid guy, but he's actually playing really, really well since he's got here, which is making it easy on Slay. So Darius Slay is having a great camp as well. So it's just making everything like really exciting. I'm excited. I'm starting to get more excited about the defense as the days go by, and a little bit like I'm starting to worry is starting to actually creep in about the Eagles offense. One, because like Miles Sanders is not having the best of camps. He continues to drop the ball, apparently, from what I'm hearing. And that's not something that I want to see. But that's why they drafted Kenny Gainwell. That's why they drafted Kenny Gainwell. They've mostly been, doing the Nyheim Hines role with Kenny Gainwell and lining him up all over the field in the wide receiver spot, and it's going to be a phenomenal job. It's going to be a phenomenal job. That doesn't even make sense. Sometimes I say things and they just don't even make sense. They just come out of my mouth. Toxic Falcon says, wait till the Cardinals get a ring. Nikki says, Toxic Falcons suck it. Nice. Nikki says, I think the locker room leadership is going to be much better on both sides of the ball. Agreed. I concur. I do. Unless they trade for Deshaun Watson, then the entire thing goes into shambles. Does it go into shambles? That's the question. Does it go into shambles if they trade for Deshaun Watson? My guess is yes, it probably would start to go that way. But the other thing too is like Jalen has seen this before as well. So like Jalen will be like, nah, follow me. But then you'll create that tug of war game, right? You'll create the tug of war game with your team. And then it'll be weird. And you don't want that. You don't want that. Toxic Falcon says, man, I just know Jalen's going to take off against our defense. We'll see. We'll definitely see. I mean, Jalen has a lot. Jalen has a lot to work on. He's still, his reads are still a little slow. He's not throwing guys open. He's waiting until they get open. So there's still flaws that he's working on. Like I said, this is not a top 5 quarterback that we're working with here. These are not things that have already. These are not things that are going into year 2. These are things that are still being worked on. This is not Carson Wentz going into 2017. This is Jalen Hurts, going into his second year with only 4 games under his belt. So it's not the same. It's just not the same. And speaking of Carson Wentz, guys, I kind of ruled out that. I kind of don't worry about the first round pick. Just don't worry about it. It was going to be a late first round pick anyway. Don't worry about the first round. That's all I'm going to say about that. Don't worry about the first round pick. Just stop. Just stop. Don't worry about the first round pick. Yeah, we're probably not going to get it. Carson. Yeah, it's fine. We'll still get the second round pick. At least we still got an extra 2, right? At least we still got an extra 2. Tox Falcon says, "Oh yeah, are you happy the Giants got in that big fight?" No, I'm really not. I'm not happy that the Giants got in a big fight, and that honestly, I don't think it's cool when teammates get in fights. That's not cool. You don't want that. That's not. You don't want family or comrades getting in a fight, bro. Like that. At the end of the day, they're all, we're all people. I don't want, that shouldn't be happening. represents to me, what that emanates more to me is a bad leadership. And Joe Judge has not been a good leader. I'm sorry. He has a little bit in some categories, but like the way that he had that team bitching for like week in, week out, just because the Eagles, decided to like sit the game, the final game of the season last year, so they didn't get to go to the playoffs. Like that's not our fault. Like you didn't win enough games, So like this is bad leadership, bro. Yeah, no, I'm not happy about that. Like that shouldn't be going on. Like, yeah, do I not like the Giants? No, yeah, I don't like the Giants. They're a rival, but like, still at the end of the day, like be respectful of your comrade, man. Like be respectful of your teammate, be respectful of your family. Like those guys like are together like day in, day out. Like yes, if it was here's the thing, like fights happen in practice all the time, but a fight like that, nah. Nah, it's too far. It's too far, bro. That's a reflection of leadership. Camp fights are pretty usual. Yeah, and they are. They are. It doesn't sound. Nikki says, "Is Watson going to miss time with these allegations?" Well, here's the thing: is his next court date isn't until February, so they can't make a ruling on it until February. And they didn't put him on the commissioner's exempt list, so no, he can play. He can play, which means that he's probably not going. Which means that he's probably going to get traded soon. Very, very soon. If it's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles, I don't know. That's the thing. If it's going to be before, here's kind of what I came up with, which I think is more likely. But this is twofold though, because it's twofold. It's twofold because Nick Sirianni keeps saying that they haven't named a week 1 starter yet, but these are my thoughts. I'll just start with this: is that if they named Jalen Hurts the week 1 starter, I think Jalen has less than half the season to prove that he can do it. And if it's not going well, then they can trade for Deshaun. And then no harm, no foul. They get what they can out of Deshaun for the rest of the season and see how many games they can win with Deshaun. If all good is all good, after the season ends and we're into February, then all good is all good. Then we can focus on next season with Deshaun Watson. However, that seems more likely to me because that gives them a chance to look at Jalen Hurts. However, Nick Sirianni and his coaching staff and Hy Roseman continue to say they have not named a starter for week 1. Week 1 is less than a month away, or it's a little bit more than a month away. It's August 5th. So that makes me believe that they are giving themselves this time, training camp and preseason, to look at Jalen Hurts. And I don't think that they're going to give it till the end of preseason to make that trade with the Houston Texans for Deshaun Watson. That's what makes me think that. So I think that, like, if they still feel how they feel now about Jalen Hurts, because clearly it's not enough to convince them to make him the starter for week 1. If they still feel how they feel now after 2 preseason games, they're going to pull the card and they're going to trade for Deshaun Watson. And And I think that's why that report came out last night. I think that's why those reports came out last night because, NFL Network panned over to the Eagles practice live publicly, and Jalen Hurts threw a horrible ball to Zach Ertz, a wide open Zach Ertz, and it was just bad. He bounced back, but I don't think it was just that, but clearly there's something that they're just not getting. And I think it's kind of what we just talked about. He's slow on his reads. He's waiting until guys get open. He's not throwing guys open. There are flaws that we're not talking about with Jalen, that are being overlooked because we're getting excited about the possibility, hey, maybe he actually is really good. Well, maybe there's flaws too that we're not talking about that we should probably be talking about. So Jalen won't be phased, says Nikki, not the type of dude. Toxic Falcon says if Watson's there, then it's a different story. Yeah. Athletes in Houston have bad experiences. We know that. I don't know what it is. They don't like playing for well, let me rephrase that. Sorry. Before these allegations started to come out, that's what we thought this was. We thought this was another, Kawhi Leonard sort of situation. Or was it Kawhi Leonard or was it Kyrie Irving? I think it was Kawhi Leonard. Nikki says, I really don't care about the pick. His contract is gone next year. The pick is just a bonus. Evan Ingram is a fake Pro Bowler. Evan Ingram is not that good of a tight end. I think it was funny how I continued. I personally believed that analysts were blowing him up last year, and they just continued to watch him fail expectations. Well, Nikki, how do we lose leverage? Nikki, how do we lose leverage if we wait? Because if we wait, I mean, I guess I see your point in this. I guess I see your point in this is if Jalen starts to perform poorly, then they would try to get more out of us, knowing that we need. But again, we could go 5-3 and they could still want to trade for Deshaun Watson. You know what I mean? The Eagles don't to fill it up. Tox Falcon says, Nikki, they could tank if Jalen sucks because there's some good players next draft. Philadelphia Eagles sports teams don't tank, bro. And no, there's no quarterback like Deshaun Watson in next year's draft. It's just not. Or Aaron Rodgers. By the way, Aaron Rodgers is not happy in Green Bay. You think Aaron Rodgers is happy in Green Bay? Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to be there. So here's the thing. So just because they want multiple first round picks, they're not going to get 3. But let's say that the Eagles are going to trade 2. The Eagles won't have to trade the 2 in next year's draft. They won't have to trade the 2. In fact, the Eagles will probably be able to maneuver away so that they don't have to trade both in next year's draft. They'll probably do the one that they got from Miami. And then they'll probably do theirs the following year, and then maybe one of their twos, maybe their two. And then you got 2 firsts and a second. And then maybe something else for Deshaun Watson. It seems like a reasonable trade. But we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see, guys. We will just have to see. But I'm glad I was able to get on here and catch up with you guys. Here's to hoping for the best for the Philadelphia Eagles and even Toxic Falcons. I will be sure to try and be on here with you guys as much as I can throughout this week. Tomorrow is Friday, actually, so I will probably be on with you guys throughout the weekend. And one love, Nikki, Toxic. Thank you guys for jumping on. Big Play Slay, you as well. Franklin, I don't think you guys are on here anymore, but one love. Thank you for hopping on. This is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. Football is back, baby, and go Birds. Birds.